Maximising productivity for the sugar industry is a key focus at SRA. One such example is where our researchers are developing tools that prove useful in measuring actual cane composition, which leads to aiding in maximising sugar yield at harvest, and other composition measurements that can affect industry profits. In this episode, we will focus on the mobile maturity tester that has proven itself over the past 4 years to be a valuable asset when variety performance needs to be assessed. The mobile maturity tester is a new generation high-throughput, go-anywhere sugarcane tester that measures actual cane composition such as CCS, fibre and pole, without having to take it back to the lab and conducting more expensive analysis. This makes it a very versatile tool that makes more accurate measurements of maturity than the traditional use of a dibbler for managing grower harvesting sequence, and can also be used to measure other compositions in local variety trials. Its main features include a fully automated cane juicer, which can process up to 120 sugarcane stalks per hour, uses robust digital Brix refractometers which are easy to read and use, can operate in the field or in the harvester shed, can log field information in an easy-to-use database, calculates CCS, fibre and pole using a juice sample, determines 14, 28 and 42 day maturity forecasts, and can trend field maturity. Dr. David Donald, who is one of the lead researchers involved with the mobile maturity tester, talks about the conception and development of this technology.
The history of the mobile mill started here in Moringa in 2006, where we were doing a biomass maturity trial, and one of the things which happened was we got a lot of high quality data being sent into the Mulgrave juice laboratory, and from there we started to see a lot of relationships evolving, and these were the relationships which turned out to be what we use for the mobile mill. So there were very strong correlations with Brix and pole, the Brix and the moisture in the cane, and then towards with the fibre, which gave us CCS, and it gave us a very cheap and easy way to start looking at measuring CCS with simple Brix measurements. From the biomass work that we had done here in Mulgrave, I then got a SRDC project, drying off in the tablelands, where we interacted with 6 growers up in the tablelands with Drew Burgess to look at the effects of drying off, different drying off regimes up in the tablelands. But to do that, we actually needed an effective way to measure how the cane was responding cheaply and quickly. So we started to use the relationships, which are the ternary maturity moisture model relationships, with a dibbler. We were using a dibbler in 5 different parts of the cane, and that told us very quickly that using a dibbler is effective, but it's also very, very time consuming. So to actually get 6 sticks in the field and to use a dibbler to get the types of accuracy we needed for our maturity drying off work, we were spending in excess of half an hour a field to do that. Then we started looking at ways to automate the time consuming parts, which was trying to pass the entire stick through a juice crush. That's where we got the next iteration of our maturity testing of using a manual juice crush. The mobile mill itself, the trailer-based version, it's actually being used here in the Mulgrave area, Bibinda, up in the tablelands, in Tully, and is currently being used in Brandon, in the Vertican. In the Mulgrave and Bibinda regions, we actually use it to do a large survey of the Mulgrave and Bibinda areas, where we sampled over 40% of the entire cane supply of Mulgrave and over 25% of the Bibinda regions, particularly investigating the the effect of standover cane with the maturity analyzer. In the tablelands, we were looking at the drying off regimes and trying to forecast the maturity changes in maturity curves with the maturity analyzer. In Tully, we were looking at the CCS curves of new varieties which were being introduced. SRA is now beginning to integrate the mobile sugar maturity tester into the plant breeding program in the project Sep2014, which is maximising genetic gains. We're looking and using the mobile maturity tester to do large-scale automated testing of seedlings out in the field. So rather than get all of the seedlings, bring them back into the laboratory, we're able to take the laboratory out in the field. It actually increases the throughput of our program potentially by doing rapid analysis of all of our seedlings.
David mentioned the prototype mobile maturity tester is currently being used by Burdekin Productivity Services. From there, Joe Svognan, who is running the sampling, talks in detail about its current use and benefits he sees in utilising the technology.
We've borrowed the mobile maturity mill to track the CCS levels through the year of new varieties that have been released and varieties that have yet to be released, just to see whether they're going to be late or early yielding varieties. We've had some growers bring some cane in that they wanted to check between blocks to see what might be worth harvesting, and we've got a bit of value out of that. And we're testing 8 varieties every fortnight from our mother plots to track the CCS curves, and we're also taking samples out of 2 variety trials that were commercially grown, and just to see how they were doing as they were coming up to harvesting. I see the mobile maturity mill being a useful tool in the future with as we release more and more new varieties. It just gives us another tool and another source of information to compare with the information that SRA releases.
4 years of prototyping this technology shows where there are many applications where adoption of this cheap technology, such as the mobile mill tester, can help to improve the sugar industry's productivity. For an information sheet on the mobile mill tester, go to the SRA website, click on Growing Cane and select Varieties, then Information Sheets.